issues with the service at the moment, but I'm really excited to welcome you guys to our second panel of this film festival, and this is the art of a short film. We have some incredible short filmmakers on here. Ones who all have short films in this festival. Ones have won several awards. We have Brendan Hubert on here, who's had a chance to win an Academy Award with one of his short films. So we're super excited for all these people. These guys are all super talented guys. And let's bring them on. So we're gonna bring Brendan Hubert on. What's up, Brendan?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. And we got Chris Jarvis, who's got some film here. I'm not sure this is grabbing off. We got Matt Bainbridge.
Hello.
And for those who follow Red Flag Pictures, we got what's up, Rob?
Hey.
And we got Melissa. Hello, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
We're missing one person. We're missing Ryan O'Leary, who has a beautiful short film called The Lost Weekend. He is currently in an airport right now, and I think we might have lost him in this whole technical issues. Oh, we just lost somebody. We lost Chris. Oh, technology. Well, first of all, welcome. I really appreciate you guys jumping on. This is going to be pretty great. But first, we'd like to go around and have you guys introduce yourselves and what film you guys have at the film festival. And we're going to start with you, Melissa.
Okay. Hi, my name is Melissa Skirbo. I'm here with My Dinner with Schwartzy, which is, I directed it. I was one of the producers and one of the writers, along with my partner on this, Penny Jackson, and we're thrilled to be here. We've been having a great time all week.
Awesome. Great. Brendan, how about you, man?
I'm Brendan Hubbard. I have a short film I wrote and directed called The Helping Hand, and another film I produced called Birthday Cake for Dinner.
Nice. And Rob.
Yeah, so I'm Robert Drabo, and I'm here with the film Method. And so I wrote it, directed it, acted in it, produced it. Basta.
Oh, whole 9 yards. That's awesome. And Matt.
Hi, I'm Matthew Bainbridge, and I wrote, directed, produced, and I think acted as PR agent for the Turner exhibit, and also having a great, blown away by the quality. It's a great festival. Honored to be a part of it.
Awesome, that's great. And actually, now that we've gotten started here, we do our mystery guest arrive.
Hello.
What's up, bud?
I am at the airport right now, and I thought it'd be cool to be in front of this window, but I realized it's making it look like I'm in a hostage video.
Well, while we have you, do you want to introduce yourself and what film that you have planned?
Sure. I have a film playing called The Lost Weekend. It's about some online dating and stuff and like family relationships. It's a movie for the people. And it's kind of funny and kind of sad. And yeah, I'm proud of it. It's playing today at 7?
Oh, yeah.
7? Yeah, so yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for being here, even though you're in the protection program. We have Chris Jarvis on who's got a beautiful film called Bruce. We're not sure what happens to him there, so hopefully he can join back and do a quick introduction. Well, first up, guys, you guys all should be extremely proud of your films. Our team absolutely loves them. I want to start really by asking you guys, right? You guys are all done short films. Is for you, right? What are the elements of a really good short film, right? Why did you guys choose to do a film versus a feature film? And we'll start with Rob on this one.
Well, personally, I think the kind of hallmark of any good film is that it causes the viewer to feel something. And so I think that was kind of the objective. And in a short film, obviously, it's much easier to do within a smaller budget constraint. And so with this story, that's kind of what I was looking to do, is to elicit an experience that correlate the experience that friends of mine have had in kind of an acting context.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man, your film is really unsettling in many ways. And I love talking with Lydia the other night to get the whole Q&A that. So, Melissa, what do you got? How was a good short film?
I think that it needs to tell a succinct story that, like, I'm old fashioned. I like plot. I like a beginning, middle, and end, and for it to have an arc that actually takes me on a journey. But the journey has to be very, if it's going to be 10 minutes, you can't be telling a tale of two cities. It's got to be one night in that city or 1 hour in that city. And then just something that kind of grabs you and holds your attention and makes you want to know what happens next. And like, I think the thing that I find when something is too open-ended, like, I like gray areas. I like when the endings are not tied up in a neat bow. But if it feels like the story wasn't told, I feel ripped off. Like, wait, what happened? I want to know, at least what the end of this moment should be.
Right. Absolutely. Hey, real quick, is somebody hearing that clicking noise? Is it just me?
I hear it.
All right.
No,
Somebody got some clicking noise.
somebody walking.
Oh no. Oh, the challenges of the soul. Yeah, it sounds like a clicking noise. There's some sort of strange. Uh-oh.
Better?
Nailed it.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
wait.
that's good.
Well, I wonder who it is. Let's find out. It's gonna be Rob.
Rob's. Oh, he's back.
Well, I just turned him off, but it's coming from his. So, Rob, is there a mute button on yours? You can mute you while you're.
Yeah, me.
Oh, you got it.
All right, cool, awesome, and then we'll just roll with that. Yeah. Sorry, but that's the challenges of these type of film festivals. You gotta rely on technology. So, all right. So, Brendan, you're up, man. Elements of a good short film. Why did you choose? And obviously, you have a crazy resume, including an Academy Award, which is awesome. So, why short films? What are the elements of a good short film for you?
I think films is a good reason to kind of express what you're trying to show. So I actually kind of am on the opposite side of Melissa. Like, I enjoy kind of keeping the ending a little open-ended and just leaving the audience with what just happened. Like, I want to see more, because if they want to see more, then there's buzz around it, and then that's how you make a feature film out of it, if that's your goal ultimately. If you're making a short film just to make it as some sort of concept or piece of your life, that's fine, beginning, middle, end. But I found that if you want to make a series out of it or a feature film, leave the audience constantly guessing what you're trying to say, and then bring that back around when you do a feature.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, I wanted to change up the question a little bit for you, because you in a unique spot where you actually had a feature film for your short and you had to turn it into a short. So I want to know, obviously, what the elements of a good short film are for you, but did you have any challenges of trying to take a feature film that you guys had and try to adapt it into a short film?
Yeah, it's really hard, is what I learned. The feature film that this was adapted from takes place over the course of a year, and it had a lot of characters and a very, very fast pace, which the short kind of retains. But yeah, I had to cut whole characters. I had to truncate everything to take place in a weekend. And one of the big changes, I think, with the short versus the feature, I honestly removed a lot of the more comedic elements because I didn't have as much time. And then also just switching things around. It was definitely challenging and not the idea, because I didn't write the feature with all right, I got this cool sequence that can be a short film. It was never intended to be turned into a short, but that's what happens when you're me and you raise 1/10 of your budget and then have investors with their money just sitting in a bank for 2 years, and then it's all right, we can make it as a nice short.
Yeah.
And I think it worked out for us, but I wouldn't recommend going that way unless you're fortunate enough to have your story within a story. If you have something that's the first 10 minutes of off in that montage thing, that could work as a short. But I would not recommend this route. Although it's helped, though. It's definitely garnered interest and made it's easier to get someone to watch the short film than to read a 90-page script any day of the week. So it's definitely been weird, and yeah, not really how I wouldn't necessarily endorse it, but also sometimes it's what you got to do. Otherwise, we would have just had this money sitting in a bank account, losing money on taxes every year. So I'm happy that we made the short.
Yeah, it's a beautiful short film, man. So Matt, I obviously want to hear your answer to this, right? What are
hilariously enough, I'm probably the worst person to ask this question to because I did everything wrong in the sense that my initial motivation was I had made a lot of DIY shorts, and I wanted to work with better talent. I had been doing DIY for 20 years. I'd worked professionally in the business, and I wanted to work with a real crew of people who actually, I have a couple of Emmy winners for House of Cards and stuff that worked on my movie. I had great DP, and I have a very unusual writing style. My writing style is very direct. It's very succinct, and if read a certain way, I think it's great. But it's hard to act, as I've been told. So I went out to New York and got real cast members. I'm based out of Baltimore, and I would have done a feature if I could have. But the fact was, this was every dime I had plus family blood money and all the rest of it that's familiar to everybody. So I wanted to make a film that was the best that I could be, and that meant short. And the reason I say I'm the worst is I've been yelled at 5 times on the festival circuit, which means I actually won an award in England, and the award was a review. And the review was 3 paragraphs, and the first 2 paragraphs were basically, who does he think he is? You can't make a short film like this. He thinks it's a feature. This is garbage. And then the last paragraph goes, but I guess if other great filmmakers can do it, Matt can too, and it's really good. And I'm like, what does second place get? A shot to the head? But anyway, so I'm probably the worst person to ask that question too. I wanted to be the best that I could be in champagne taste beer budget.
Awesome. Well, hey, actually, we're gonna bring Chris back on. Hey, buddy, welcome back.
Hey.
Oh, technology.
Yeah.
So for those who are just joining us, Chris directed a beautiful short film called Bruised Fruit. So Chris, the question that we just went around the room and asked is, for you, what are the elements of a good short film? We went out to create your short film, Bruised Fruit. Did it? Actually, I'll ask that question later. What's a good element of a good short film?
I think telling a story in a condensed version, telling a narrative in the most simple, short, obviously, way that you possibly can. So, just keeping it simple, keeping it as concise and to the point as possible, even though I didn't really follow that advice necessarily on my short film. But I tried to as much as I could. But yeah, I think that would be what I would say. Just keep it simple, keep it, as straight to the point and concise as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So question for all you guys, and I want to know this. All your short films are sort of at very different lengths. I believe some of you guys are 11 minutes. I believe, Matt, you being probably, I think, 24 minutes?
24 minutes.
24 minutes? So
another time.
Chris, I'm correct if I'm wrong, I believe your film is 19. I don't know how I remember all the lengths of your films.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. So I want to know, when you guys went out to create that, how, for you guys, does length play a part in directing a short film, and why? And the second part of this question is, when you guys created your films, did you guys have a length in mind to hit that target? And I'm going to start with Rob. Actually, I'll start with Brendan on this time. I'll start with you last time. Sorry.
Sure. So for mine, I only had 1 day to shoot. So the idea was I wanted to keep it around that 10-minute mark because, 1 day to shoot. But I think length does play a big factor, especially with festivals. Like, if you have a 30-minute film, you're going to have a hard time just because programmers like Kyle, they can put 2 or 3 shorts in a 30-minute period. So they can kind of promote more with 3 filmmakers versus 1. So if you make a 30-minute film, it's got to be, almost Academy sort of vibe.
Yeah. We'll go with Rob on this one. Next one. Sorry, bud. Uh-oh. Here is Rob frozen. No, there's Rob.
It looks frozen.
It's so weird. I've had situations where people are just really still, and I thought they were frozen. And I'm like, no, I'm here. Oh, okay, what's up? Uh-oh.
Oh.
So we'll skip Rob. Hopefully Rob can jump back. Ryan, how about you, man?
Yeah, sure. I think in general, the tighter, shorter, the better. And I think that applies to features too, but especially with shorts, if you're looking to screen anywhere, that's important. And I guess, yeah, my goal is to be under 15 minutes, and we came in at like just over 14 with credits. But definitely, hell, if you can make like a really great, like 3 to 5 minute short that tells a compelling story or has just something to it, you're going to be a lot better off than someone with an even better 30-minute short, just because of, it's harder to program. And then you also have the chance with something super short, you could maybe make it go viral like later on or something. But yeah, I think, and then it was also important to me with this particular one to maintain the integrity of the feature, which means there's like 20 scenes in my short technically, but they're all like these like 1/8 page to half page scenes are a lot of them. So like, but at the same time with that was like, yeah, it was just really important for me to be under 15 minutes, and thankfully, like, we didn't really compromise anything to pull that off. But there was a minute where like the first cut was like 16, 17 minutes. But anyway, yeah, shorter, better is my opinion.
That's great, man. Melissa, how about you?
I mean, I think ultimately the story needs to be as long as it needs to tell the story well. So I might have an idea in mind. Like with this, I wanted to be under 15, but our first cut was around 17 minutes, and I liked it a lot. And then we did a rough cut screening with cast and crew and got in some friends and got some feedback, and listening to the feedback and seeing how it played, there was like a good 2 minutes that we could cut out that made it better. So I think it's just being open to it finding its length.
Yeah, awesome.
For me.
So Matt, you have a longer short film, 24. Tell me about that. Was that intended? Did you guys?
No. It was interesting because I have the exact same philosophy as Melissa. My thought is a great story is a great story. And if you start thinking about the marketplace before you've even shot it, you're censoring yourself. So I was operating under 2004 rules because I'm self-destructive and a masochist. And I'm like, I can get on, as long as it's under 30, I'm good. And I had an amazing producer, the great Lindsay Mercer, and she said, please, can you get it under 25? And I got it under 25, and she goes, I'm proud of you. And I don't feel like I cut anything. I cut one 20-second scene, but I cut it because it was superfluous, not because of anything like that. And it's the exact film that I wrote. So I'm really proud of it. Having done it again, though, everybody's correct. If you really want to be screening, I probably cost myself 30 festivals by length, if I had to be honest with myself.
Yeah.
But I still, like I said, I'm older than most people who make shorts. I'm in my late 40s, and I just wanted to make something that I believed in and go down. I wanted to go down with my boots on. So
nice, awesome, man. So Rob, jumping on you, man. Sorry we lost you there for a moment, but welcome back. So Rob, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say your film is 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 14:41. Originally, it was 25 minutes. And
wow!
I was like, this is way wrong, and so we found a way to cut it down without losing too much of the story.
Gotcha. It's I mean, for that to be 15 minutes, man, it definitely it holds you for that 15 minutes, and it's a really uncomfortable 15 minutes. And it's extremely fantastic film.
Well, it's also easier to keep people feeling uncomfortable for 15 minutes as opposed to 25.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Cool, guys. So great answers. So another question I have for you guys, right? Go ahead and talk about your particular projects in general. I want to know what are some of the biggest challenges you guys had to overcome with your projects. And here's the only caveat: you cannot use budget as one of those answers, other than budget. We'll start with Melissa on this one.
So I just think that getting extras in was our biggest challenge. We wanted to have really a lot of people to make those bar scenes look like this kind of fever dream. And there were people that were supposed to show up that the morning of, like we had a set of triplets who was supposed to come in and be like greeting Schwartzy, and they're like, no, we're not coming. And we had a David Bowie lookalike that got stuck at the airport in Florida. And, so there was a certain level of ambiance that we just had to work around. And we created what we needed to. Probably it would have been a longer film if all of those people had actually shown up. The other big challenge was working with a live rabbit.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to get it outside. Like literally we had we at first had it on a leash, but it wasn't working. So we literally had every crew member circled up so that we could get the shot with it off leash, but it couldn't get around, so the amount of space we had to shoot was the amount of space with the people that we had to make sure that the buddy didn't run off.
Yeah.
Wow. That was it.
Okay, awesome, man. I can't imagine working with live animals. I mean, so polar opposite of live animals. We're going to go to Brendan for a minute because you guys saw his film. I don't want to give too much away, but what was some of your biggest challenges on that film? I know you mentioned like you guys only had a very short amount of time to film, but tell us a little more.
So to make my film, like I said, I only had one day to shoot, but I was also piggybacking off the other short film we shot. So I was producing that Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday I had to flip brains, and like it was my first time directing, so it was kind of a stressful thing. And then I had a child in my film, so dealing with the time frame on that and a 1-day shoot and a 10-page script, it all worked out.
Nice, awesome. That's crazy you shot that in 1 day, man. You told me that the other day in our live interview, and I was like, that's absolutely crazy, man. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge for sure. Chris, biggest challenge on your film? How'd you overcome it?
I think in general the biggest challenge was just scheduling. There's a lot of scenes in our movie and a lot of actors, and we all work full-time jobs, and so it took a really long time to shoot. Usually when I make a short film, we shoot it over a weekend or a week or something like that. But this took us like a few months to shoot just because of scheduling. But I do have one specific story that was probably the biggest challenge. So we shot a lot of our movie in the woods, kind of up north in Michigan. And on the way to the shoot, our producer, Abby, was driving a van with all of our gear. And our car broke down on the way to the shoot. So then I called up my buddy Matt, who was doing sound on the movie, because he was driving up at the same time as us. I was like, hey, dude, like our car broke down. Can you come pick us up? Like, we have all the gear. We got to get it to the location. He's like, yeah, dude, I'll be there soon. So literally 5 minutes after we get off the phone with him, he calls me back and he's like, hey, man, I just totaled my car. And he had totaled his car like 5 minutes after our car broke down. So that was probably the biggest challenge. And we had like 20 people showing up to this location to do the big, in the woods sequence. And we just had to have like 3 cars come and like grab all the gear and drive it the rest of the way. And yeah, that was rough.
And who wants to follow that story up? Matt, what do you got, man?
I had a weird one in that I took a lot of time on pre-production. I mean, a lot. Most features didn't put as much time in, so my production was a dream because I had the best people and they did all that, and everything that went wrong I didn't hear about. My producer intentionally wouldn't tell me until lunch, so I never it was like heaven. But it's like credit. When movies are like credit, everything that you get on set, you have to pay for double in post. I had the worst luck ever in post. Starting with, I had an editor who wanted to be an animator, and if you've seen my movie, I do a lot of interesting use of still photographs in an animated sequence. And she got Lyme disease and vanished with all my hard drives for 9 months. And eventually I had to have a friend of mine, I'm in Baltimore, break into her house in Los Angeles and steal the drives back because she wouldn't answer phone calls. Then I had to hire a new editor. Then that editor ran into some just horrifying troubles that I can't talk about. And so it was like my post didn't happen for almost 3 years because of unbelievably just dumb thing. So I guess just keeping a good attitude. When things were working, they worked beautifully, but just keeping a straight face through all of the God hates me stuff moments was the hardest part for me.
I had no idea that Lyme disease turns you into a criminal. That's crazy.
By any means necessary.
Ryan, I know you have a plane to catch momentarily, but what biggest challenge for your film, man? How'd you overcome it?
Sure. Similarly to Matt, but we had an issue with, as opposed to editors, is our cinematographer. So the first person and the thing is, we had this incredible cast that I think we mostly got because it was a weekend where people were free, and we had things planned, 4 or 5 weeks out. And then our first DP got like a once-in-a-lifetime type of job where we would have been assholes to be like, no, don't do it. So our second DP went to England, like it was like for Thanksgiving, and she got very, very, very sick. So we ended up getting our cinematographer less than a week before the shoot. This awesome DP, Evan J. Cohen, who did an amazing, amazing job. But part of me is like, man, I can't help but wonder, like, if he did that good with, like, no prep time, if we had him for, like, 2 or 3 weeks instead of 5 days. But, yeah, I would say it was the losing the cinematographer multiple times and having to scramble was definitely the big challenge. And, like, at one point, like, I was considering, like, I'm terrible with cameras, as you can probably see. And I was going to be like, I'll shoot it on an iPhone if we have to, because it would have been worth it for the actors. Thank God that didn't happen, though, because I'm sure we would not be speaking today, because I would have been killed by Roger Deakins or something.
Oh, man. Rob, the biggest challenge on your film, and how'd you overcome it? No, boy, we lost it. I don't know if it's...
He's back.
Let's see.
He's shooting a selfie.
This is live, by the way. I'm checking. Rob, we
My biggest challenge is to make my phone work. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So yeah, biggest
I overcame it by muting myself. Yeah.
biggest challenge for your film, how'd you overcome it?
Is this for me? No.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, so my biggest challenge was getting my unmute button to work, which was a great success. Well, the biggest challenge is I never made a movie of any kind, so short, feature, nothing. And so it was just the learning curve involved in it. And, I just collaborated with people who knew what they were doing and could kind of carry me throughout the process.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome, man. I mean, you guys, so all you guys have had some challenges and then overcome those challenges. I think that's what makes filmmakers so great. They're also great visual storytellers, but they're also really good problem solvers. And you have a lot of people who are probably watching this or attending our film. You have a lot of people who are just starting out into filmmaking, specifically in the short film genre. So I want to know, for all you guys who have really great, successful films, is what is your advice to someone who's just getting started in the short film world? And we'll start with Matt Bainbridge on this one.
I'm the worst person ever at giving positive, happy advice. I'm a dour, folks, but I'm going to try and go. I'm going to shift out of character and say this. If you're looking at making short films as a careerist, it's a horrible career. There's a million better ways to make money. All you're trying to, it's like basically saying, I want to be electrocuted for a living, is what making a short film is like. So my advice is this: you've got to love it. And if you love it, I can't stop you. There's no advice I could give you or anything. You're going to do it anyway. But at the end of the day, you're going to spend all the money you have. You're going to alienate your family. You're going to cry. You're going to have nervous breakdowns. You're going to probably get in a few bar fights along the way. There might be the law involved. But at the end of the day, I look back at it, and even though I made some mistakes, I wouldn't change anything, because I can say this: if I died tomorrow, I died doing what I loved. And most people don't do that. So my best advice is, if you're doing this for social attention or status or as a trend, get out. But if you love it, just put your head down and listen.
Yeah, awesome. We'll go with Ryan next. I know, Ryan, you probably have to leave us soon to catch a flight. Advice you would give to an upcoming filmmaker who's trying to get into the short film genre?
Sure. I would say just start making stuff. Make sure you really want to do it, because no one's going to ever want to make your thing as much as you. Don't expect someone to come save the day. And like, also, like, especially, I think this applies to writing. Like, don't be afraid to suck. Who cares if you make something terrible? Like, it's not, I always say, like, with my scripts, it's not good until it is. So you're better off making something, finishing it, even if it's absolute trash, than like starting something and holding yourself back because it's not up to your standard yet. Because I hate to break it to you, most people for the first time, you're going to not make good things, and you're not going to make good decisions, and you're going to blow money, and you're going to alienate people. But, you know, I would say just go out, make the things, make the mistakes, and also to some extent, you know, treat every project like, don't do the thing where you have like just this dream project way down the road. Like, really make everything you do the dream project and just go for it. And I'm probably going to exit after this question. I just want to say thanks for having me, and it's an honor talking with all of you. And I hope it's not too annoying hearing the sounds of Newark Airport behind me.
Yeah, it's all good. Have a safe flight, man. It's braver than all of us right now.
Yeah, I'll be in Fort Myers. You're there, right? We'll be up at the screening. I'll be there. I'm rushing down right now.
You're closer now to me than you will be at Fort Myers.
Okay. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Stay far, Ryan.
Congratulations.
Bye.
Oh man. So, sorry about that. So we'll go with Brendan. You're next, man. What advice would you give someone in a short film?
Don't be cheap on audio. Get a sound guy that knows what they're doing and has more than one microphone. I've just seen so many short films where it's like a mic in a room and you can tell they're talking around one microphone, and it kind of takes you out of the film. Like, the picture will be there, you can see that, but most people are kind of naive to audio at the beginning. So,
gotcha. Yeah, no, that is even coming from a judging standpoint. At a film festival, it's sound. I think Walter Murch said this: sound is half your picture. We can forgive images sometimes, but it's very hard to forgive sound. So that's really good.
Plus, you save money on ADR.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you don't know what ADR is, just imagine shooting yourself in the foot with a nail gun over and over again. That's what that's like. So, Melissa, what do you got? Advice you would give to an upcoming short filmmaker?
Just find people that you love playing with. People that want to jump in, whether you're paying them, minimum wage or deferred pay or $1,000 or $1 million, that really just want to be there and make it happen. I've done a 48-hour film project with 10 people that we spent like $600 on, and I've done other projects that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And it doesn't matter how much you spend if you have people that are willing to put themselves into it as much as you are, and that you can learn from. I mean, that's the other thing. Coming from theater, when I jumped into my short, I found people that knew more than I did, that wanted to, they were happy to share their wisdom and knowledge and help me see my vision. And I think that don't worry about money or what kind of camera you have. Make it sound good. Make good actors. I think going to film schools and finding people who are just starting out, who are looking to build their reel with professional quality stuff and get into film festivals. You can build relationships with people who are at the same point that you are, but maybe no more.
Yeah, absolutely. Which actually is a great segue to my next question. So actually this question is for Chris and Brendan, because Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you are a Sundance alumni.
I am, yes.
Which is awesome. And then Brendan, you have an Academy Award for a short film called Curfew under your belt, which is obviously amazing. So I think a lot of filmmakers, and also Brendan, you've done Tribeca, you've done a whole bunch of top tier festivals. And Melissa,
and Sundance.
And Sundance. Oh, perfect. Okay. Melissa, if you guys have done any top tier ones, if I'm misspoken, I apologize. But a lot of filmmakers, especially starting out, they look at that as like a major, hey, I have to get into those festivals and I have to win an Oscar. I have to do all these crazy things. How important do you think that is for someone trying to make a short film? We'll start with Chris on that one. Does that answer that? Am I saying that correctly?
What's that?
The question, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. How important is it to get into top tier festivals? Is that the question?
Yeah, because I think a lot of upcoming filmmakers believe that that's the the golden ale, and like that's what they need to become successful.
Yeah. I mean, like I felt that way, and I still do kind of feel that way. But I also feel, you know, getting into Sundance, getting into these top tier festivals, it's kind of like playing the lottery. You know, you're not. You don't have a very good chance if you're being honest with yourself. And yeah, I mean, it is it's a good goal to have, and if you do get into those festivals, you know, it's going to do good things for your career. I think, honestly, I got literally nothing out of Sundance. It didn't progress my career in any way, and maybe that's just because I'm like a weird introvert and I didn't network properly or something. But and I also when I went to Sundance, I went for scoring a movie, so it wasn't for making a film. It was for doing the music. So that's probably a little bit different. But I will say it was one of the best times I've ever had in my life. So as far as that goes, it was totally worth it.
Okay.
But I think don't put so much importance on that. You know, there's a lot of value in smaller festivals and connecting with smaller filmmakers, or not even smaller, but you know what I mean, in these smaller festivals for sure.
Brendan, same question, man. All right, because you've been on all the top tier ones plus an Academy Award. So tell us more about that.
I mean, I agree. Like, it's about managing expectations. Like, everyone, you wrap your film and you think, oh, I'm going to Sundance. That was the best thing I ever did. And you just like manage what your expectation is you want that, but in reality, you know, you're not going to get that because there's 30 films at Sundance and there's 10,000 submissions. So I would say, like, for me, going out, like, this was my first time directing. I did the same thing. I reached out to all my contacts trying to get into Sundance, Tribeca. It ended up not happening, but I went to the second tier festivals. My films played 70 festivals, and every other like mid-tier festival I go to, that's where I find filmmakers I work with. Like, every film I've made is not who I met at Sundance. It's who I met at like Hill Country Film Festival or like Hang On to Your Shorts, like things like that, where filmmakers really go there because they want to create things. Whereas like Sundance, or we had a film at Toronto and it was a short film and we were just, you know, these small fish in this big pool and everyone wanted to see Leo. And it's like, oh, well, you know, that was great. We have this laurel, but it didn't really provide us with anything once we left there other than, you know, more festivals, more contacts, and, you know, it's ultimately a building thing.
Yeah, that's really some good advice. I do hear a lot, especially upcoming filmmakers who, you know, think that they can't make a film until they are ready for those situations. And you guys are both proof that, you know, while it's great to have those under your belt, it shouldn't stop anybody from creating a film or moving down that path, for sure. Melissa and Matt, do you guys add on to anything of that question?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's weird because when I'm a cynic, but I'm also a strange optimist. I'm schizophrenic. And I went through every cycle while I was making my film to I'm going to win an Oscar to I'm going to die homeless. And ultimately, I ended up in I got into a couple of what I call A- festivals, not Sundance, but like the one step below. And I finally, it was late in the run, and I finally got to talk to some of the top programmers, and it was really eye-opening. They told me to go, listen, you made a really good movie. Everybody here wants you to make one more short, which is not what I wanted to hear, but it's probably the truth. And the other thing I learned was I hate awards. The festival one, you figure out real quickly how subjective awards are, but you have to have something to promote. And I didn't promote my awards early on because I was kind of ashamed. I felt like I was being obnoxious. I'm Midwestern at heart. I'm from Michigan, upper Michigan myself. And you just don't, you know, if you have to talk about it, you're not real. But I have a friend of mine who ran my Instagram page, and he started posting award stuff, and I just got distribution. And I think I got distribution not because of the quality of my films, but because these companies keep seeing my Instagram feed and writing me. And Discover.film is pretty good. That's not a bad ending for the movie. And, you know, I think that all happened. So my advice is, it's not about where you get it. It's about being strong and self-promotion, even if that's out of character for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Melissa, anything to add?
I mean, I think what sorry, I forget what I don't think it was Brandon. But managing expectations. I mean, when you're starting out, there's different reasons to go to festivals, and yeah, Sundance, Tribeca, South by Southwest, whatever, have this prestige attached to them, but you're probably not going to get in. There's too many people that are pre-picked. You're competing against too many others. I mean, I think my first film I submitted to Sundance, and they said, "Thank you. We received 60,000 submissions for short films this year." And it's like you're not. It's worse than play. I think your odds are worse than playing the lottery. At least with the lottery, you might win $100 here and there.
Right.
Keep coming back. But there's so much value at the smaller regional fests as far as networking, connecting with other filmmakers, finding people to collaborate with in the future, and just building a career. I mean, I'd love to hear more about distribution, because to me that's been a big question in whether or not it even pays off. If you're doing deferred pay through SAG and need to pay off all of your actors, but you're only making, $50 or something off of distribution, it's like, just put it up online. But to me, it's more like building a resume that will get you to whatever the next step in your career path is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got two more questions for you guys, and I'll let you guys go. Thank you again so much for hanging with us. I'm sorry about the technical issues we had in the beginning of this. Oh, technology. So the question, right, is like, for you guys to make short films, what's like do you guys want to get into feature films? Have you done feature films, or are you sticking with short films, and why? And so if you're sticking with short films, I want to know why. If you want to go to a feature film, sort of what's that platform of it? We'll start with Brendan on this one.
I mean, at this point, I've done all of it. We've had Curfew was made into a feature film called Before I Disappear.
Yeah.
I've had two other shorts that got made into features. For me, going into directing, writing, like I want to do probably 2 or 3 more shorts, kind of get my chops up, and then look to direct more horror sort of thing. I'm also working on like a little short film horror series, I guess. So yeah, it's short films for me right now.
Awesome. Chris.
Yeah, the goal is definitely features for sure. We were actually planning on making our first feature this year before all this stuff happened, and we kind of had to put that on pause. So now we're prepping some short films. We're gonna keep trying to chug away and make some more shorts until we can kind of get more cast and crew involved and try to tackle a feature. But yeah, that's definitely the goal for the future.
Awesome, cool. Melissa and Matt.
Yeah, definitely would love to be moving into features. I think I'll probably make more short films just as a way to keep honing my craft and doing something until the features are, I don't expect them to start raining out of the heavens tomorrow. Although if you want to, please. I'm writing 2 features that hopefully I'll finish shortly, soon, someday. And Penny and I have just started talking about developing the characters in Schwartzy to be a series, kind of looking at their lives outside of this evening, and how they all come together. So, I mean, and I actually love TV, like Netflix, HBO, Hulu, Amazon. Like, I think there's some really good long, 10, 12 episode series that tell stories in a way that you can't in just a feature. That I would love to be doing that as well.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, what do you got?
It's funny. I've had the best time this year, and I'm really upset about COVID because I love this like weird cult of short filmmakers that get together, and I haven't felt this kind of fraternity type scenario since college. But the truth is this: features are my first love, even more. And the truth is, at the end of the day, every movie wants to be seen. You can say everything you want to about why you're making it, but you're hoping somebody watches it. And I still believe the best chance to be seen is by features. Although every time I'm working, whether it's for a 1-minute short or like a television show, that's the most important thing in my life at that time. And I'm really proud of my shorts. But the truth is, I grew up worshiping feature film directors, and I want to at least do it once before I depart this mortal coil and say, give it a shot.
Yeah, that's so guys, right? I want to know, because it sounds like you guys have really great things coming ahead of you guys, feature films, newer short films. What when you guys take on a short film project, whether you guys are writing it or when you guys are, let's say, directing it, I know Melissa, it might be more from Melissa, but you did not write, you and Penny wrote that one, right?
Yeah, we wrote it together.
So when you guys went out to create that particular short film, or when you read the script, or any of you guys, when you guys read a script, what's the first thing you guys look for and say, hey, this story is something I want to do as a short film? And we'll start with you, Melissa. You might have a little bit of a different answer. You wrote it, but.
Well, I mean, the one that is just starting out on the circuit that Penny wrote that I did not co-write. I mean, I think it has to do with characters, and this is true with theater as well. When I read something and I'm like, I can see how this, like, something inside goes, got it. I know how to do this. Let's make it work. And sometimes it's just because it's like an interesting puzzle. Like, I want to bring this to life.
Yeah.
But usually it's because the characters catch me, and I have a very strong vision for what it's going to look like.
Okay. Brendix, I know you have a ton of short films that you work on. So what do you find?
For me, I guess it has to do with, like, is there a director or writer that are really passionate about it? And, like, they, I forget who said it earlier, but if they're not the ones kind of championing their film, like, they can't just, me as a producer, like, I'm not the one that's going to push them further. Like, they have to push themselves, and then I will help them and guide them through it and hopefully have the best success from it. So, I mean, alongside, characters and story and something interesting, but if you have a director that's really passionate, basically.
Cool. Awesome. Chris and then Matt.
Yeah, all the films that I've directed, I've written also. So I don't know, but I think if I were to direct something that I didn't write, it would exactly what they just said. Characters, strong vision, and then also just the person who wrote it having the passion and the drive to kind of push it forward and be collaborative. But I think it would have to be something that I would read and I would want to. It would just have to feel right for me and my sensibilities and what I do.
Yeah. Matt.
I spent a long time trying to figure out who I was, and I realized the problem with loving movies is you love all types of movies. But once I figured out who I was, I know exactly what I'm looking for now. I'll tell it quickly. There was a girl that I grew up worshiping, like David Cronenberg, and I'm like, where is that in me? And there was a girl I was deeply in love with, and she came back from San Francisco, and she saw a super controversial film. I won't say who, because I'm trying to make that in there. And everybody I know hated that movie. It's like almost universally just hated. And I said, what do you think of it? She goes, I loved it. I go, why? She goes, because, Matt, it's something I'm intensely curious about, and I'm embarrassed to say it out public, and I got to watch it in a room full of anonymous people, and no one could judge me. And I'm like, that's who I am. I love to lift the carpet up, and I love movies that talk about things that nobody wants to deal with. And I think if you can force people to, I don't think you can change anybody's mind on anything, but I think you can make people think about things that they otherwise wouldn't. So when I'm looking at a script or mostly writing a script, that's what I'm trying. I want something that makes me uncomfortable ideologically, not because I don't believe in it, but because I'm afraid of what I believe, if that makes any sense. And to me, when that happens, that's the most exciting feeling you can ever have, because you change a little bit, or you have a fight with yourself and you're engaged. So anything that does that with me, I don't believe it. I believe in the myth of fingerprints. If I feel that way, then somebody else does too, no matter how strange I might come across.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, listen, thank you so much for taking the time out. I do have one last question for all you guys. Where can we keep up to date with you guys? I think you guys all have fantastic films that you guys should be really proud of, and we're so honored to have it here at the Fort Myers Beach International. But if we want to continue to follow you, how do we follow you guys? You guys on Instagram? Are you guys website? Tell us more. And we'll start with Chris on this one.
Yeah, we're on Instagram as Core4 Productions, and I have a website, ChristopherJarvis.net. Those would be the two best ways. I'm also on YouTube, Vimeo. You can find me on all those too.
Sweet, awesome. Melissa.
Facebook, either Life Dream Productions, or we have pages for Schwartzy Short or Greetings from Sarajevo. Instagram, Melissa Life Dreams or Melissa Direct Her. And then I'm on Twitter, and I have melissascarball.com. So I'm pretty easy to find.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah.
Brendan, what do you got?
I'm on Instagram at Barely There Media, BAR, and my film is The Helping Hand. It's at The Helping Hand Film. It's going to be released on Dust in the next couple of weeks.
Nice, man. Awesome. All right. Hey, Matt, what do you got?
I have a website, yearoftheratproductions.com, and we have the Turner Exhibit has an Instagram, the Turner Exhibit, and the Turner Exhibit has a Facebook page as well.
Oh, sweet. Awesome, guys. Well, guys, listen, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you guys are all probably crazy busy with projects, and it's so good to see you guys and get a chance to meet and connect. It's also great. I see the chat going here, you guys all exchanging information. So I think a big part of this film festival is making sure that we all kind of stay connected. But guys, thank you so much, and be in touch.
Thank you. You guys
Thank
are
you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy the rest of the fest.
All righty, guys. All right. Well, thank you guys so much again for all that. Sorry about the technical issues that we had this morning. Like I said, I had a little bit of a rainstorm here, so maybe that has something to do with it. But we have a day and a half of film festival left. Films are just getting started right now, so head over. They're streaming over on our YouTube page. But guys, we got some great panels coming up tomorrow as well, and a whole night of film. So until then, see you guys.